For 7 years of my life, I grew up in the foster system. I had to leave my mom's house because of the decisions she made to stop being there for her children. At the time, it was just me, an 8-year-old girl, and my brother, an 11-year-old, severely autistic boy. One day, the police showed up at our house. They asked me a lot of questions and then told us I would be staying at my aunt's house with her 3 kids, and my brother would go to a home to support his needs. I stayed with my aunt and her cousins for a year and a half until one day my aunt told me to pack some clothes. I thought I was going to spend some time with my other aunt and cousins, so happily I went to pack some clothes, but once I was done, I went to the front room and my aunt told me and my cousin I was going away for some time. I didn't know what that meant, but we all cried, and my caseworker showed up. My caseworker didn't tell me too much on our car right there, but for the most of the ride, I cried. Once we got there, I was greeted by someone I would soon look up to as a sister, and by more people I would soon consider my family. I lived there for 2.5 years. I wanted that to be my forever home, my forever family. But I found out my biological mom had another baby. He was only 5 months old, and the state wanted us to be together forever. I moved in with him and his foster family. I watched him grow up, cry, fuss, change his diapers. I never thought I'd have a little brother, but there he was right before my eyes. I thought that was it for our foster placements, but I was wrong. Something didn't work in that home, and we were moved after a year and a half of staying there. Now, we were with our very first white foster parent, a single mother with 3 cute but crazy kids. To say the least on that home, it didn't work, and we left. On my last day of school, we were taken to our next foster home. And our last one, thank you, Jesus. Another white family with 4 kids, a boy in the 11th grade, a girl going on 9th grade, another girl in the 7th grade, and another boy in like the 5th grade. And of course, 2 parents, a mom and a dad, and 2 lovely black dogs. Those people showed me and my brother so much love and care even after our hearts were broken by so many people, so many different times. I never had a father figure in my life, so when I got to this one, I didn't really know how it felt to have a father at all. December 31st, 2014, we were adopted by these people. Being here for 2 years now, I've received lots of love and crazy rules and groundings. I'm blessed to have a place to finally call home.
I was born into a rather poor family, but we managed to live in some sort of way. I had a rather rough childhood though, with my dad working very hard to support me and my mom, meaning he wasn't often at home. My mom was therefore very protective of me, as her only child, but living as a sort of single mother really put a strain on her mind, which was made worse due to the lack of funds for medical treatment. Despite these circumstances I found myself in, I was reasonably happy for my childhood, and I was also able to do really well at school despite my situation, as I focused on my studies for most of the time. When I was around 13 years old, my dad got a big break and seemingly found a good and well-paying job as a delivery guy. Things went really well for a little while, and we managed to afford the necessities and some luxuries here and there, which I was really happy with. Until when it turned out that my dad's boss was sort of a con man. My dad ended up losing his car and most of his money to him, leaving us with very little hope. We were left almost penniless as my dad went on to more laborious jobs with even less pay. The stress led to a moment that changed my life forever. My mom's symptoms of mental illnesses worsened into severe paranoia and bipolar disorder, and it led to a tragic event that left her unable to take care of me anymore. Combined with the lack of funds that my dad could provide, it felt like I was left without a family that could take care of me anymore. I felt hopeless, and I felt like at such a young age, I simply couldn't see myself living anymore. Until I called my aunt and uncle for help and guidance, and they were kind enough to take care of me as my guardians and let me join their family with my 2 cousins. As of now, I'm 17 years old, in my final year of high school. It's been difficult to adapt to my new and more wealthy way of living, and it's painful to remember that my mom and dad are still struggling to this day. But doing well at school and prioritizing my studies while thinking of what happened in the past gives me drive to work as hard as I can so that one day I could maybe provide for my parents as they did for me.
One day when I was in 3rd grade, I decided to sign up to play the viola. Yeah, big mistake. I ended up hating playing that thing. It was uncomfortable, and I hated reading the notes. But at that time, my teacher was nice enough, except for when she would yell at me for not cutting my naturally long nails, which I get was annoying for her because in order to sound good, I needed to have short nails. But I really couldn't give a flying cockadoodle pickle about all this viola stuff. So I really wanted to quit, but my mom wouldn't let me for 2 years because she thought I'd be the next Beethoven or something. But in 5th grade, she finally let me. Fast forward to about 8th grade. In my tech class, I had to sit next to some girl who really didn't like me for some reason. Like, she made a poem about me saying, if a brick smacked Jess in the face, the world would be a better place. So some crazy little Shakespeare chick who either wants me dead or wants my face to be as flat as a pancake is sitting next to me. Great. So I was just minding my own business when this snobby McSnobster turns to me and goes, hey, Jess, why don't you tell everyone why you quit viola? Because it made me so stressed. I wanted to break it into itty-bitty pieces and then strangle myself with its strings until I was unconscious and blue. Why? Yeah, right. You sure it's not because you didn't want to cut your nails? Then that's when my eyes widened. Where did you get that false information? Oh, I asked some girl about you and she told me that. Well, I hate to break it to you, honey, but your friend is a liar. Well, actually, the teacher told her class. How pathetic. And blah, 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 blah. I just kind of zoned this chick out at this point. I was stunned that some 30-something-old teacher would pollute some kid's mind with some stupid lie about another student. I needed to know exactly what this teacher said about me, so I asked some of my old fella viola buddies, and going by what they said, this is what happened. Some girl said, hey, why isn't Jess here? Did she quit or something? And instead of saying something along the lines of, oh, well, that's her private business, this salty teacher told her whole class, oh, the reason Jess quit is because she couldn't cut her nails. So some kids went, ooh, exposed. Others laughed like, yeah, 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 quitter, yeah, 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 yeah. I was mortified that 10-year-old me and my long fingernails made a negative appearance with my name in her class. Like, lady, you are 30. Your school gossiping days are over. At first, I was offended, but then I realized I'm not the 30-year-old wazzbag in this situation gossiping about 10-year-olds. But now I just wish I could go back to my elementary school and suck up enough courage and confront her and say, hey, I don't appreciate your grown butt spreading a lie about my 10-year-old self and my fingernail length. And then watch the color drain out of her face.
A huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Not all
I'm really skinny, but I'm not anorexic. I started developing, but I'm flat. And I don't have my period yet, and that's what I get made fun of for. All of this started when I was in 4th grade. Kids started making fun of me because everyone started developing and I didn't. All my friends did. They had really big curves, and standing next to them just made me look like I was a freaking cereal box. People started making fun of me. I told a trusted adult, like everyone says to do, and she said that I should just ignore them. But ignoring them is impossible when you have to see them every single day, and some of them are even your friends. They always have this girl talk moment. They talk about their periods and how big their boobs are. And whenever I try to get into the conversation, they always say, you wouldn't know. In 6th grade, everything got even worse because everyone's curves became bigger and boys started getting on it too. Boys called me many names, like toothpick, popsicle stick, and I tried eating more to gain weight, and my grandparents noticed. And they told me not to, just eat the amount that I wanted to and just leave the rest. So I started doing that and I felt happy again. But then I reached 8th grade. Everyone, and I'm talking about everyone, has started developing. I started developing as well. But I didn't have my period and you couldn't visibly see my boobs. Some people don't really want to show their boobs. But in my school, it was the other way around. So I started wearing a bra with 2 paddings in it to make it seem like my boobs were bigger. Even though I was trying really hard to make it look like I was curvy, people still teased me. At lunch, this boy called me that I looked like a second grader, and I just laughed it off. But it felt like I just couldn't take it anymore. I just wanted to punch him in the face and say, whatever if I'm not curvy, I don't care. But I didn't. And after I got home, I cried for a whole hour. The next day, I didn't want to go to school. So I told my mom that I was sick, and she called into the office, and I got absent. I didn't know what to do that day, and was going on YouTube, and I found many inspirational stories, and then everything clicked in. Now I know that I'm supposed to love myself no matter how I look like. I don't care about whoever, whatever they say to me. I don't care at all. All I care is that I love myself no matter what.
I remember I was at my step-aunt's house for my little sister's father's side of the family, and I was watching TV with my step-cousins, 2 young girls and the eldest boy. Time passes and the 2 girls have left, and I'm left.
I've never been okay with my body. I had stretch marks on me, well, I still do, because I was super skinny and then I added a lot of weight and I just have stretch marks everywhere. I've always been insecure. I normally wear jeans, I never wear shorts, or if I do wear shorts, they're 3/4 length, and if I wear dresses, they're just above my knee. My friends drove somewhere and I went with them and I was like, oh my God, where are you guys going? And they were like, oh, we're going to a beach house. I was like, I don't have a swimming suit. I don't have a towel. I don't have goggles. So my friend was like, calm down. They're going to buy some at the store. Well, how about you and Trina go to the supermarket and get drinks and salads and foods? We came back and some of them were in their bathing suits, some of them were laying on the sand. And we were like, oh, you didn't buy any for us? And she was like, oh yeah, we totally did. So she threw a bathing suit at my friend Trina and then she threw one at me. But this was not what I wanted. It was a super tiny bikini. And I was already very insecure about my body. And I was just like, you know what, you guys, I don't want to swim. And I had to lie that I was on my period. And she was like, oh, it's okay. And so they bought me tampons. And I was just like, oh my God, they're really going to force me to do this. So I went into the store and I put it on and was just looking at the stretch marks. I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I just covered myself with a towel. I put it over my shoulders. And my friend was like, oh my God, just take off the towel and swim. I was like, yeah, sure. So I took off the towel and this girl from my school came over. Her name was Peaches. And she was like, oh my God, you are disgusting. Like, you cannot go into that water. And I was just like, why? And she was like, look at you. And so my friend Trina came and pushed her into the sand. The girl got sand in her eyes and she just started screaming and crying and everything. And all the boys came over to see what was going on. And they just looked at me and then looked at Trina, then looked at Peaches on the floor. And people were staring at me, staring at my thighs. And I was just, oh my God. So I ran back to the store and I put my clothes back on. When I came back out, Trina was outside the booth. She was like, okay, you want me to take you home? I was like, yeah. So she just took me home. I told my mom about what happened. She was like, don't worry, you do what you want to do and you be comfortable in what you're comfortable in. You don't have to be perfect for anybody. And now I'm comfortable with my stretch marks and I don't go around wearing short shorts or short dresses or skirts. I wear what's comfortable and I'm happy with that.
Oh my God, and we totally jumped off the cliff and had to swim all the way to shore because the dog chased us all the way to the end. Oh.
I am a goth, and being a It started off with a simple night of sitting down and watching TV together.
One day in math class, I was sort of spacing out, and the teacher called on me, and I gave an answer, and it turned out to be really, really far off. And all the kids in the class started giggling. I could feel my face turning so red, and I just wanted to sit and shrink. When class dismissed, people went into groups. I could hear them whispering, She is so bad at math. Oh my gosh, she was so far off. Did she even hear the question?